Well, guys, they did it. Jun Furutani has absolutely surpassed our expectations with this one. He's a friggin' mastermind, let me tell you. I'll open this up by quoting one of my pinned comments on my latest video. An important thing to note about our initial skepticism is that Jun Furutani intended this discourse to happen. At every possible opportunity, he chose to sow the seeds of doubt in us all, including the fans who wholeheartedly believed that GT would be in the base game. Eternal rivals. Jun. Here's supposedly every Goku and Vegeta variant. We didn't show GT, but we didn't show Ultra Instinct either, so who knows? Our conclusion. With only 164 characters and a whole new era of Dragon Ball to cover, no way they're not making major cuts to fit the Daima deadline. The sagas are even organized from top left to bottom right, so how could we possibly fit GT into this? Ignoring Dragon Ball Super Frieza breaking this rule in the first graph. Power versus speed. Jun. Here's a new trailer to show off a variety of characters under a niche theme. We even have Kakunza. Who else might be revealed for the Tournament of Power? Our conclusion. Okay, so the roster seems to be organized randomly to prevent obvious guessing, but Kakunza? They're just begging us to tamper our expectations. No way GT is in the base game. Master vs. Apprentice. Jun. More characters under the theme of mentorship, from the humble beginnings of Master Roshi to the divine wisdom of Whis. Everyone learns from someone. Our conclusion. Okay, they've got both forms of Roshi. No way he's just included for the Tournament of Power. He's even using techniques from original Dragon Ball. Surely Kid Goku and King Piccolo are in the game. How can it coexist with GT? Fused Warriors. Jun. Surprise! This trailer isn't just about Gotenks vs Kefla, but Gogeta vs Vegito vs Fused Zamasu. Every now and then, we'll do trailers that reveal massive amounts of characters. See you next week for the release date. Our conclusion. Funny how Dragon Ball Super Gogeta is laid out here. Guess that's allowed. Either way, surely they would have shown off Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta if GT were in the base game. Come on, it's obvious that the roster is for the general current canon of Dragon Ball. GT doesn't have a place here. Release date trailer. Jun. Sparking Zero releases this October 11th. Those who pre-order can play it 3 days early with exclusive unlocks to Dragon Ball Super Broly movie characters. We're looking forward to unveiling the rest of the game until then. Our conclusion. Ain't no way GT takes marketing precedence over Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. This would have been the perfect place to unveil GT, and they blew it. No way it's in the base game. Swords vs. Fists. Jun. Here's a trailer dedicated to characters like Trunks, Goku Black Rose, and Super Vegito. The rest of the Universe 2 trio is also here alongside Ani Laza. Our conclusion. Ani Laza and Spopovich. Y'all still expecting GT on launch? Give up. It's over. Saga trailers. Jun. As we enter the final few months leading up to the release of Sparking Zero, it's time we unveil the rest of the roster by recapping the events of Z. What could possibly be next after this? Our conclusion. About time they did something a bit less random. Without doubt, Dragon Ball Super will follow after the Buu Saga trailer. Then they'll reveal anyone left they've been keeping secret. Fingers crossed for Kid Goku and King Piccolo. And then this drops. Everything From the roster constantly defying, subverting, and exceeding our expectations, to the supposed roster count and the deliberate exclusions of expected characters every trailer, has led to this bombshell of a reveal. I had believed that Bandai had decided that we can pay a bit more for GT down the road, regardless of disappointment. But I underestimated who was really creatively in charge here. Jun Furutani, the director of Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Mr. Furutani is a genius who played our skepticism like a violin and plucked the strings to surprise the listeners. I doubt that there will be a roster expansion, but even that might be a folly at this rate. We'll see with the final roster. Yeah, they expanded the roster. I can say that by now. There's over 180 characters according to the retail full game according to the retail version of the game, which has a confirmation of 180 plus characters on the back of the box. With that, from now on, this is spoiler talk. First off, can we talk about Kid Goku from OG Dragon Ball making it in? I was hoping from day one that would be the case, and it seems like it is, and I couldn't be happier. But I can't help but feel like he's missing some people to fight. So let's discuss that. They're not just including Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, and I've got evidence to suggest that 182 is not the final roster. First of all, the 182 final roster count is based on the characters that we see in the leaked video that showcased everyone, or supposedly everyone, in the game. They are mostly movie villains. They are the rest of Universe 6, God Topo, and as well as Frieza Soldier, of all characters. Specifically, it's 18 movie villains, from Super Garlic Jr. all the way to Harudegarn from movie 13, Z Gogeta, and Tapion. Odd of them to exclude base form Garlic Jr., but I'll take it, whatever. A funny thing to note is that they don't include certain characters for shits and giggles. They have to have someone to fight. For instance, Z Gogeta is confirmed for the game. The screenshot is rare because it's part of a section of the leaked video that got cut out. But in the very opening, when the player selects Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, he rapidly scrolls up to early Z Goku, and you can see Z Gogeta next to, between Vegito and Gogeta. So, he's there. And the 182nd character that's confirmed is Daima Goku as the pre-order character. You can tell he's the pre-order character because he is locked behind a unlock screen. You only unlock him if you pre-order the game. I don't know if he can legally be classified as a base game character, but we'll roll with it, whatever. The reason why I think 182 is not the final roster is because of things that many people have pointed out, and the fact that, and evidence that I have dug up myself. Now, a while ago, the soundtrack had leaked that Z Broly was in the game. And on that very same screen was a track called The Adventure Begins, basically foreshadowing Kid Goku, and adventuring across the universe, which would foreshadow GT Goku. The Z Broly track is called I Am the Devil. That's just Z Broly. Another thing that basically confirms characters that we haven't seen in the game yet is some of the custom battle title options. There's one referencing the Galactic Patrol, which would allude to Draco being in the base game. And there's one being the Red Ribbon Army. Now, you may be like, well, that could just mean Cell or the androids. they would have had Cell and the androids. They would have Cell and the androids. They would distinguish those. Keep in mind, this is the custom battle title options. The Cell and the androids are going to be their own separate thing. Because technically, Cell is so removed from the Red Ribbon Army, despite originating from there, that he classifies as his own thing entirely. Like, the Red Ribbon Army being in the game would allude to General Tao, well, that's, General Blue and Tao Pai Pai at least being in the game. It could also foreshadow General Black, or perhaps Cyborg Tao. For all we know, freaking Pilaf Machine could be in the game. I don't know. There's no evidence for it yet, but we'll see when the whole roster gets revealed, right? So by default, that's like 184 characters that are alluded to or soft confirmed, and we know that they're confirmed because the details in the leaks that foreshadowed these characters, they didn't lie in the slightest. Z Broly, OG Kid Goku, and GT Goku are in the game. Up next, there is Shin, or Supreme Kai. He is straight up shown in the tournament mode in the game mode trailer. Now you may be wondering, why would they keep him secret if he is in the base game? Why would they not show him off in the Buu Saga trailer? Well, here's my thing. If he wasn't in the game at all, why would they show him here? Why would they tease him? People would notice and people would get mad. They would call the marketers liars, right? And so far, they have not told a single lie. Think about it. The way they have worded things in order to tame expectations has not excluded any possibilities. For instance, they never straight up said 164 characters, and now we know it's over 180. At least they didn't lie straight up. You could say it's lying by omission, but they didn't lie straight up. They wouldn't show Supreme Kai if he wasn't in the game. They probably didn't show him in order to keep us guessing. That's been the whole thing here, keeping us guessing. It gets people talking about the game, talking about theories, talking about like, oh, we shouldn't get our hopes up about X, Y, and Z. But so far, Jun has aimed to straight up, like, set up that expectation and then knock it down, right? And he has done so by wording things very carefully in a way that doesn't exclude possibilities, right? Up next is the suspicion that the leaked video does not show the final version of the game. Like, you would say, oh, well, obviously, like, it's the pre-release version of the game. It may not even be that, and let me show you why. For one, Kid Goku needs somebody to fight. And it would be really weird if his options for enemies to fight in certain extra battles were only the Red Ribbon Army. No way Demon King Piccolo isn't in the game, right? No way he's not. So that there's at least going to be Demon King Piccolo. I can almost guarantee that they have aimed to exceed expectations at this rate, right? So there's the three Dragon Ball villains are at least going to be General Tao and General Blue, Mercenary Tao, and King Piccolo. Again, there could be more. For all we know, Super 17 may be able to beat the DLC allegations with his buddy Nova Shenron. Fingers crossed. Who knows? Who knows at this rate? Another thing to point out is that in the marketing for Budokai Tenkaichi 3, the back of that box art says over 150 playable characters. But there are 161 characters in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The box art should say over 160 playable characters. But it doesn't. And that was intentional. It was to surprise the viewer. It was to surprise the player. So, 180 isn't an objective standpoint, even though it technically should be under any other circumstances. Another thing to keep in mind is how weird the roster looks with how it's organized. For instance, Frieza Soldier comes right after Deborah in the leaked video. Why does Frieza Soldier come after Deborah? Shouldn't he be in the Frieza Saga section? Why is Spopovich in the GT section? Why does he come before Beerus? Shouldn't he come before Babidi? That doesn't make any sense. This indicates a disheveled and incomplete roster selection screen. Another thing to note is that Bardock would appear next to Frieza Soldier. And Majin Buu isn't anywhere to be seen where he should be. He should be after Deborah, but instead we've got Frieza Soldier, and then it goes straight into the movie villains, right? Which is weird. That is suspicious. My theory is that this is a controlled leak. The leaked video was intentionally leaked by Bandai, because think about it. How did they get their hands on that? How did the leaker get their hands on that? We've seen this guy before. PS360 HD2. Or, I think so, right? That might be him. You can tell because the subtitles in the leak video are very similar to the subtitles, the edited subtitles in this guy's videos, right? So, like, how did he get his hands on that? Why him and not everyone else? You know the reason why? Because it's probably a demo build that's going to be showcased after the final roster trailer drops. And people are going to be allowed to showcase the video, the expanded roster. But it's not going to be the full roster. There are a bunch of possibilities, but the general theory overall is 182 characters is not the final roster. And not to say 182 would be dissatisfactory, but this is a game that's been setting up low expectations just to break them. Before I conclude the video, I would like to praise Jun Furutani again for basically including everyone, almost everyone from the previous game. There could be, again, there could be a lot more revealed, but we're done with that. So far, the only notable exclusions are like King Vegeta, Asha, the Great Ape variants of every Saiyan warrior character. Basically every Dragon Ball character that didn't get confirmed yet. Super 17, Nova Shenron. There, I think, I can't remember. Was GT Vegeta was Base and Super Saiyan GT Vegeta in the previous game? I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But I would like to... But again, thank you, Jun Furutani, for giving us this wonderful, wonderful game that's going to frickin' last us decades. Far better than Xenoverse 2 is going to. That game is already getting old. Just give us Xenoverse 3. There's still some merit to the experience to warrant a sequel next to Sparking Zero. But please, don't just destroy the Xenoverse 3's potential content with Xenoverse 2 DLC. Please, 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 just move on as soon as possible. You can, as soon as you legally can. Another thing, Daima Goku. Daima Goku is a weird pre-order character. He makes sense. He technically fulfills the specifications of, it's somebody that hasn't been in Budokai Tenkaichi yet, but he's going to have a set of transformations. He's going to have at least Super Saiyan 1 and 2, maybe 3. So, I find it weird that they're going to have a character that later down the line will be able to transform, which is, I guess that's not terrible. I don't really know how to feel about that. I wish that it was something to celebrate Toriyama. Rest in peace. But maybe they'll include Raleigh in the final roster, right? I'm really hoping they do that. Raleigh was such a cool guest character. I guess that Beelzebub from Sandland would have been a better pre-order character, and then save Daima Goku for the Daima DLC. But who knows? It's fine. Daima Goku being the DLC pre-order character, it's fine. Speaking of DLC, what comes after Superhero and Daima? What's going to happen? If the final roster isn't quite big enough to fit all those previously mentioned excluded characters, like Super 17, and Nova, and Fasha, and Zanya, and all those characters, maybe they could do like extra character packs, like Dragon Ball extra character pack, or Movies extra character pack, or GT extra character pack. Who knows? My main theory is that after the Superhero and Daima DLC, after that's done, they'll eventually do Dragon Ball Super Volume 2, which would be the manga, right? And now I'm not saying, they're going to do the manga content before it gets animated. No, I think that my main theory is that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's DLC lifespan will last well long enough for Toei to finally animate Dragon Ball Super Volume 2. I'm calling it Volume 2 because there's going to be a point in which it's not called the DBS manga anymore, right? The Moro arc, the Granola arc, the post-superhero arc, whatever that might be. Instantly dates the video. Yeah. Well, I guess the video is going to be dated. Either way, we'll know for certain. I think that, in the end, this is going to be a perfect Dragon Ball game. Overall, just generally, for anyone, right? It has the biggest base roster in the series. And it's going to... meaning that anyone who likes basically all of Dragon Ball pre-Super and all that gets to have basically the complete Dragon Ball experience without needing to buy much, if any, DLC, right? 182 characters or more, like more than 182 characters, is quite a satisfactory number, right? So that's going to do it for this video. Jun Furutani, thank you. Thank you. You are goated for this. You and the Sparking Zero dev team are goated for this. I have to freaking praise you for being a standout example against AAA bullcrap these days. Any other company, Bandai, if it were solely in charge here, would have milked this game to hell and back. And I think Jun knew this. But the very inception of this game, from what I remember correctly, is that Jun saw the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 mod for Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and straight up said, yeah, I think I could sell Bandai this game, but officially, right? Yeah, I think that was the general premise. So, yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I'll see you all when the game fully drops, right? Or when the final trailer drops. Peace out. Be sure to subscribe.